Welcome to Holy Family, folks. It's so beautiful to see everyone. The gospel reading today has the most perfect quote for a baptism Sunday. Take courage. Get up. The reality is that those of us being baptized have a sponsor or a godparent. And what does that mean? Well, I'd like to take you first to a story from my childhood. When I was a young boy, I had a babysitter who would come and stay with me while my parents worked. And she would talk to me about God and Jesus. And I was Catholic, my family was, but she wasn't. She was a Protestant, a Baptist. But she taught me one of the best things I've ever learned, and I'm here to teach you all it today, if you can follow along with me. It's not that we don't have this in Catholicism, to be clear, but it's something that we're going to emphasize today together. She said, Brett, Jesus and your relationship to Jesus is the most important thing in the world. Having Jesus in your heart is what you need to be saved. And while we may have different theology around what that all means, I think we can all agree that Jesus in our life can transform it. Our second reading from the letter to the Hebrews talks about a lot of stuff that is not super relevant to us today, right? Some kind of high priest and altar sacrifices. What in the heck is going on? Well, in the ancient world, for our Jewish brothers and sisters, they would go to the temple where they literally believed God dwelled. And so it was not like a church in the sense that there are many churches. There was one temple. And so the high priests, this class of high priest, was not like the priesthood we have today, because you can find a priest out in various churches, right? The high priests all were in Jerusalem. Those who were in the synagogues, like Jesus would have attended, would have been rabbis, teachers, preachers. And so these people who were the priests gave the sacrifices and acted as their North Star. Acted as the people's North Star, the guiding light. That's what Jesus, when we call him the high priest, is supposed to be. Our guiding light, the one who points to the Father. And so this sacrifice that we enter together in the Mass, when we partake of Jesus' body and blood, we are experiencing a divine union, a forgiveness of sins, a reconciliation. A fancy way of saying we feel love from each other and to God. Well, where does that sacrifice go? Because the ancient sacrifice, when they were burned, were taken up to the heavens, right? Where did the sacrifices of the Mass go? Inside us. The sacrifices at the temple were separate from the people. They were separate from the people. The people partook, they put the things up there, but once it was burned, they weren't jumping into the fire, right? Amen? Amen. They were looking at it, letting it burn, and it was a bit of a distance. And what does Paul say about each and every one of us? What are we? Temples of God. Each and every one of us. Amen? Amen. We're all temples of God, called to love each other and called to honor our bodies because we are the temple. And so that meant so much in the ancient world to say that you're a temple. That was literally where God lived. And so what did my babysitter tell me? That Jesus wanted in my heart. He was knocking on the door. Folks, Jesus is knocking in all of our hearts right now, asking that we serve him, that we follow him, that we guide others to love and service. That's what that means. Amen? Amen. Love is Jesus. Love is God. That's what John tells us. I'm not making it up, folks. God is love. And those of us who will be partaking in the sacrament of baptism will be receiving God's grace, and those that will be called to the most beautiful calling of being a godparent, you will be their North Star. You will be their guiding light. You will be the temple through which they can see God and come to understand that they are a temple too one day. Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
You are called to show them God's love. Remember that every day. You don't have to read the Bible to them every day, though Father Brett says that wouldn't hurt. You just got to be nice and kind and show them compassion and love. That's what it's all about. Amen?
Amen.
Let's have a baptism today in love. Amen?
Amen.